All right, people. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Prestigious Talk Show. This is your host, Faith Adodo. We have a special guest with us today. My name is Faith Adodo, the host of Prestigious Talk Show, a third-year PhD candidate at York University. My focus is gender and feminist women studies. But today we have the privilege to have Dr. Joshua Osaruyi Osaige here with us live on Prestigious Talk Show. I am super excited to have this wonderful man of God. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly introduce who Dr. Joshua Osaruyi Osaige is. He was born in Nigeria, Edo State to be precise. He obtained his first degree in political science and public administration from the University of Benin City, and an MC in political science. So he did a comparative politics and development studies from the University of Benin, postgraduate diploma in education, Benzi Idahosa University. He also did his PhD biblical studies from St. Luke Evangelical School of Biblical Studies, United States of America. And in his master's, his research focus was he did a research in his undergrad on military intervention in Nigeria politics. That was 1985 to 1999. His master's thesis was on women in politics of Edo State in Nigeria during the democratic government in 1999/2003. So we are super excited to have this wonderful man of God here live on Prestigious Talk Show. Please help me welcome Mr. Dr. Joshua Osaruyi Osaige. Thank you and welcome to Prestigious Talk Show, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate you deeply for this honor and this opportunity.
Yes.
And especially, I want to thank God for Prestigious Show and thank God for your life, Faith Adodo, the host, for the great contribution that you are contributing to humanity.
Thank you.
I want you to understand that with this that you are doing, you will live to make an impact in the world, and generation after you will know that somebody passed through this world, because
Amen.
That is what God wants us to be, that we should glorify him through the gift that he has deposited in us. So it's a great honor and privilege to be with you today.
Thank you very much, sir. I would also want you to quickly introduce yourself to our viewers. Peradventure, I didn't cover everything so that they will also hear from you. Just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. I think for proper clarification, I appreciate the introduction that was actually given by you. Just that I need to actually clarify and say more about myself so that people will understand who I really was. Like you rightly said, I am Reverend Dr. Joshua Osaige.
Yes.
Most people, I will be surprised because I'm not a title person. Yes. I don't really like all those extra attached to my name, but by the special grace of God, I was born in Edo State, Nigeria, in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, born into the family of the Osaige. And for just like you said, I attended my primary, post-primary school all in Nigeria, and I read my first degree, political science and public administration. And my master's degree was actually in comparative politics and development.
Okay.
Actually, in my first degree, my thesis was military involvement, because then it was contemporary issue in 1999. If you remember, Nigeria military were actually intervening in the political affair of the nation. So I wanted to do something that was current then. So I wrote on military incursion into the Nigerian politics. And also in my master's degree, there became a prevalent issue that was contemporary, which has to do with women participation in politics. And so I also chose that topical issue, and I wrote on women participation from 1999 to 2005. So so also I had my postgraduate diploma in education because I was in the teaching career. So I needed to have those educational background with Benson Dafa University, where I actually work after I finished my university degree.
Wow.
I went to a lecturer one in University, Benson Dafa University. And from there, in 2008, I have to actually migrate over to Canada to join my family. You might want to know about my pastoral career and my PhD too, how the doctor came about. I actually, was a born again child of God. And when I came to Canada, before I came to Canada, I've attended Living Faith Church, which is Winners Chapel International, where I rose to the position of an assistant pastor in Toronto. And thereafter, in 2015, God inspired us to get into the ministry, which is called Living Victory World Outreach Mission. And by the special grace of God, I'm a privileged servant, a presiding pastor of Living Victory World Outreach Mission in Toronto, Canada. And also, because of the calling upon my life, it becomes prevalent that for me to be able to do this work and to, for example, to be able to counsel, to be able to officiate, unlike the way it's done in Africa, I need to have a certification in the biblical study. So I enroll my PhD in biblical studies. Like you said, I got my PhD in St. Luke College. So that is why you see the doctor that is there attached to my name. And because of the institution I attended, so the degree conferred on me, Reverend Doctor. So before now, people used to know me as Pastor Joshua Osagie. So that's why you see my full name now, Reverend Doctor Joshua Osagie. By the special grace of God, I'm married to Deaconess Cecilia Osagie. And we have 3 children. To the glory of God, and we are all waxing stronger. So I'm glad to be part of you, and I believe that those are enough for us to continue.
Thank you so much. We can see, viewers, you can see that he has wealth of knowledge in all ramifications of life. You can see he has a lot to offer us. So, and that was what actually piqued interest on him. I said, you know what, we need him in this platform to educate us, to educate people out there about certain issues that is going on in our society. So today, we are going to be having a conversation around some issues that exist in our society. One of the conversations we will be engaging in is the issue of gender inequality, women and poverty, and the identity politics. Another aspect of our conversation will focus on women and politics, women and this new dispensation of technology and education. So these are some of the conversations that we are going to be engaged in today with Reverend Dr. Osaruyi Osagie. So, Mr. Osaruyi, I know that you've talked about women being part of politics. So, our first question today, because of your knowledge and your research based on women in politics. So when it comes to politics, why have women remained marginalized? Why do you think women have been put in a very constrained position? They've been marginalized. They are not too out there in politics. So can you help us so that our viewers will also understand?
Okay, thank you very much. I think, first of all, it's good for us to understand the word marginalization.
Yes.
It has to do with a kind of treatment of persons or group in an insufficient manner.
Yes.
That means, for example, if you are supposed to be involved in politics, just like we said, not that from the onset, there has never been women involvement, but what we are talking about is there sufficient involvement of women in the politics of our state. And I will tell you that before now, that was really a challenge, especially when you consider the era when I did my research thesis. It was the low participation of women was very, predominant. And this could be attributed to what I call the parochial or primordial sentiment that have existed before now. By primordial sentiment, I am talking about our traditional way of life.
Yes.
For example, if we would take Africa, for example, they believe that women should be relegated to the kitchen, that women are not supposed to be taking position or work in an office. In fact, even educating women was a challenge. For example, how can you participate when you don't have the required education? So we see women as a second fiddle. In fact, we see women as a subtool of men, which was not actually, to me, I believe that was not the intention for God creating a man and a woman. Women were supposed to be a helpmate, and being a helpmate doesn't mean that you have to just sit down without doing nothing. You must be engaged. So one of the issue that have really, incur or that have really brought a setback to women participation is what I call the way and manner in which our men see women, and how they feel that women should not even take elective position for some reasons, which I call those reasons are not genuine enough for them to participate. So in order to increase their involvement, there is no doubt that it is not anybody that will push for the fight other than the women themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, I love the way you unpack this whole thing. But my question is, when we go back to back in the days, because I'm also, my focus is on women, and I'm taking my PhD in women's studies. And when we talk about Africa, I believe we have what they call the matrilineal system. Women were really involved back in the days. I know we are talking about tradition. When we trace it back, I believe women were more included before the colonization. Because the reason why I'm telling you, there's a book I read about Oroyinka Oyewumi. It talked about how women have a say, in Yoruba land. It was when the Westerners came to Africa to colonize them, that was when they came with this ideology of patriarchy. When they came with this ideology, women were now relegated, and they were dominated by men, because that was what they were taught. The men were taught that women were not supposed to hold any power position. So this has been ongoing. And meanwhile, before colonization, women had participated very well in most of the activities, making decisions. Inclusiveness of women were very much felt back in the days. So now they came and they kind of colonized our men and tell them women should be, they should have their place in the kitchen, or, things like that. It becomes problematic, because when you trace it, let's talk about the Benin, right? Women were warriors. They fought war and all that. So the question is, why is it that the Westerners, they came to, colonize us, and they came with their viewpoint, with their ideologies, and now it becomes a problem. Now we are talking about patriarchy of women. Women don't have power. They are not included in anything. Where is this coming from, right? So in order for us to really unpack this, women being marginalized in certain spheres, like political spheres and all that, we have to trace it back to those people that actually came with that notion that women should have their place in certain areas. So it becomes really problematic, if you will. Yeah. So we still.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's something that I'm actually doing my research on. So right now I'm researching, and I get to find out about so many things, and I've exposed, it has really broadened my mind, and I'm shocked to see a lot of things that I have never known before. Before I used to say, oh, it's our tradition. Yes, our tradition deprive women of certain things, but I don't think our tradition also exclude them from making decision before, right? So yeah, that is why we have to keep, speaking out. We need allies. We need activists to start saying women should be put in certain power position in order for their voice to be heard, and they have to be included in decision making in all aspects of what we are doing in every society. Yeah. So that was a very good one, sir. I really, because what caught my interest, is the fact that you did your research on women and politics. I was like, wow, this is really great for a man to notice that women are marginalized in this field, that women need to be part of political decision making and all that. This is really good. You rarely see any man that will pick interest in a women issue. They will say, oh, we are going to talk about it. They just sweep it under the carpet. But you did your research, and that is something that all men should be aware of, that women will need the inclusiveness of women in all spheres. Okay, so we are going to just quickly go to our next question, which brings me to why do we have more women in poverty than men? If you can also shed light on this. Yeah, we have statistics all over the world.
Poverty in itself is relative. Again, what do you expect? Like you rightly said, if I may speak a little further to what you just said, colonization became a tool in the hand of our so-called, Westerners, who decided, who was on a mission to exploit Africa. But they know that they cannot just walk into the African continent without having some concrete reason for them coming. So it's a well-established, organization by the Westerner to put certain things in place. One of them was to also ensure that they try to win the heart of the men on their side, making them feel that they want to better their life. And one of the way to do that was to make sure that the women were actually relegated.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. You know all that. But
we just want to kind of also educate and inform people about this, right? It's not all about, because this platform, we're using this platform, as we've said, is to educate, inform people, and to let them be aware of what is going on, right? So from what you've just said, it is something that has been masterminded, right? So who are the ones that will suffer it? It's women.
It's women, and it sometimes spill over to the children too, because I'm going to give you a very clear example. You see, because of this sentiment that was already established through the colonization, that women should not be allowed to take, leadership role or any position in society. Women were now seen as just a mere domestic wife, carry out domestic job, and used to go to the farm, do all kind of family activities to support their children through school. And when you come to educating the girl child, that was a very big challenge.
Yeah, that was a big one.
If you don't educate them, how are they going to have a better life? How are they going to have a quality of life?
Thank you.
When you talk about the poverty of women, if somebody that doesn't work, the Bible says any man that does not work must not eat in the first place. So if they are not working, how do they empower themselves?
Yeah, financial liberation, empowerment. They don't have autonomy, right?
Yes.
So it becomes something that is really problematic, especially, if a woman have a baby now, she's going to stay home, maternity leave. If she's not financially okay, she's going to remain poor. So most people that are in abject poverty today, statistics of people that are in poverty are women, single mothers, women in particular, because they are not positioned in any authoritative positions. They are not. So it becomes something that we have to really look into. It's something that we have to critically open our eyes and our minds to, as women, to kind of start thinking, how do we position ourselves in all this power position? What do we do? The first thing in order for us to eradicate poverty is education. Is education. Educate yourself, right? So that is one thing, because when you are educated, you are exposed to so many secrets that you don't know before. Knowledge is
powerful.
It's powerful when you have knowledge, and knowledge will bring about imagination. You not imagine so many things, and you not be more creative, right? That is just the truth.
I agree with you. Like I said,
yes.
The starting point become education.
Education doesn't,
And I'll give you an example. When I was lecturing in Benson Industrial University way back in Nigeria, I have one of my students who actually was a clear example of what we are talking about.
Yes.
Who the father actually did not train.
Yes.
She happened to be working in NNPC. You know NNPC in Nigeria.
Yes.
But it got to a point that she could not advance beyond a particular sphere or level in the office. So she took it upon herself to enroll herself in this private institution. So she actually was my student.
Yeah.
Ironically, as my student, I needed to say, how come at this age she was actually the oldest in the class?
Oh my goodness! You
see, so we have a rapport, and she confirmed to me that just the same way the father felt that women should not be trained, because if you train them, you are training them for another man. So all the main child, and this is a very well-known family.
Can you imagine that ideology? Can you imagine that thinking?
And in fact, you cannot talk of, for example, the politics of Edo State without referring to Ejare family. I'm talking about somebody from that family.
Yes.
So he was able to get a first degree in political science. She was, but the irony of it was that as she was rounding up, before you know it, she was, voluntarily retired. So she couldn't really utilize the degree that she got in the work environment. So what are we talking about is that first is that educating the girl child become a very important tool in way and manner that which can empower the women in society. Yes. But I don't want us to dwell much more on the issues or the problem, because we already know the problem.
We know the problem. How are we going to solve?
The solution is what we are talking about. One of them is education, which of course, as at this present day, there's a gradual increment. There's actually a more level of highly educated women in the society. But I want to say this: the only person that can fight this cause is the women.
Yes, and that is exactly what we are trying to bring forward. How can we fight this for this issue of women not being educated enough? Is to keep talking about it, so that one day there will be a change. And also we have to also give them tips. What are some of the things that you want to share with our people out there, like women out there? If
create a foundation. Create a foundation.
Okay.
You see, the truth is this. One of the ways you give back to society is that if you have been deprived in the past, when you come to a position of opportunity to help others, you must stretch a hand of fellowship. But it's so bad that most time, because we suffered, we want others to pass through the same line, which is not the best.
It's not.
All they can do is for the women to begin to look out for ways they can help. And one of such is to create foundations and to be able to push for policy issues.
Yeah.
And how do you must form like a pressure group?
Okay.
Where you can pressurize the government.
Yes.
To actually be able to attract them.
Yeah.
To see the need of a cause that you choose to pursue.
Yes.
But let me tell you, women think that life is all about socials.
No,
life is not all about socials. It's not all about, joining progressive union or going to parties. All about there is more better things to life than just be. I know we want to socialize. That is, we must be complete. When I mean we must be complete, for example, as they said, there is time for everything.
Yes, there is.
You must not just dedicate your time to social activity. You must dedicate your time to have can you influence life? How best can you affect life? How best can you be able to engage in things that will promote the cause of womanhood? Now, I give you an example. Do you know that it's still very much in this modern day?
Yes.
It's still very much difficult for many men to see their wife go to work.
Yeah.
Because they, especially, let's even talk about women participation.
Yes, women participation.
Is it in appointment or taking elective position? How many men will allow their wife to go and contest for an election?
Why do you think that is still ongoing? Why?
It's still part of the way we see the society.
Wow.
We see that men are oppressive.
Yes.
Men want to always be dominant.
Yes.
And for somebody like me, maybe because of my orientation.
Yes, and your level of education.
And my level of education and the way I view things.
Yes.
Because that is very important.
Yeah, but some people can be educated and still don't allow their wives to. It's the way you view things. I will accept that.
The way I view things. Because, for example, my wife is a working class.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have even be able to marry somebody, a woman that does not work, for example. The reason why I'm saying this is this. Because at the end of the day, you as a man, your wife is part of you.
Exactly.
And you and your wife, in terms of marriage, you are one.
Exactly.
So you make progress together.
True.
You you must be able to trust them and trust their judgment.
Yes.
And trust that they also be able to affect life.
Yes.
But the truth is that they must be able to balance it in being able to manage their home.
Exactly.
And for you to be a good manager of resources, you must be, first of all, be able to manage your home. And I think one of those core women, they have been very effective in managing the home.
Yes.
Like, the Bible said, for every home is built around a woman.
Yes.
You understand, Mama? If we're a successful man outside, they said there's always a good woman by the side. So what I'm trying to say is that why should I be afraid that if my wife is going out there to work, that is going to be sexually molested or sexually harassed or is going to be deprived, or why should my wife be answerable to another man? Those are just primitive primordial sentiment that doesn't go far. So what I'm trying to say is that men should begin to see women not just as a subservient to them, they should begin to see them as a helpmate. And how do they help? They have to complement you by getting involved in the activities of the daily living of the society and contributing their quotas. And there's no doubt that when we fully approach issues the way I'm relating to it now, there will definitely be strength in women knowing fully well that their husband is supporting them. And but you know the funny thing, sometimes I have told so many men who happens to allow their wife to even work. I say, okay, you are complaining that you don't want your wife to work.
Yes.
But when they are working, when they bring the money, you eat from it. So what are you talking about?
Exactly.
So the truth is that we need to begin to change our orientation.
Yes,
and
our orientation.
My background as a pastor also helped me, because the Bible says, be transformed by the renewal of our mind. We need our mind to be renewed, not to be the way.
Yes.
You cannot make any change if you don't see things differently.
That's
so
true.
I believe that from now on, men should begin to see things differently and begin to see women in the light of what they can contribute to the society, and not just what. If they have been a good manager of our home, let's stretch out our hand. Look at how many men have messed up the society today. Look at how many of them, they have not been a good manager. So let's also try women. If they are be able to manage the home, let them go and manage the resources.
They should give women a chance.
Yes.
They should give women
a chance. Women also need to wake up. You know why I'm saying that? The truth is this. Women, I disagree when women empowerment came up.
Why? Can you give me a reason?
I told women that you don't know the power you have. Because if you know the power you have, you don't need more power. It's just utilizing the power within you.
I'm going to tell you this. The reason why I will not say, I will not 100% agree with you. Sometimes there are times you don't even know what you really have until somebody kind of reassured you. You need that like affirmation, like assurance. You don't even know your value. Somebody will say, oh, wow. You say, I'm a mom, I have 4 kids, I'm not even doing anything. Maybe somebody that is very smart will be able to help you drag other strengths. They might use what they call strength-based perspective to help you identify your own strength without you knowing, and say, you are so smart, are you not the one doing all these things? Or you say, that's one, no, you trivialize it, and the person will say, oh no, I think you're really good in this area. I think that is where the empowerment came from, because constantly women have been relegated, constantly put down under the hierarchy of men. Women, they are not used to it mentally, because in order for you to captivate or capture anybody, you have to start with the mind, right? So women have been constantly told that, oh, you are like second class. You are not supposed to make decisions. You're not supposed to be included. So it takes another powerful woman to remind another woman that, yes, you have this power. Yes, you can do it. It's like a reminder, like to make sure yes, we have that strength. But sometimes you've tried everything you can, you've explored everything you can by yourself, and yet there is no headway. Maybe another woman will not tell you you are powerful. That is where you now realize, yes, I think I'm really good at this thing that I'm doing. I'm going to continue. That is where I think that
you are right. That's what I was saying. That
yes,
it's time for women to begin to unleash the power within them.
Yes, we do really have power.
And one of the way you can do that is when you come together. For example, what do you discuss? What are the issues you talk about?
Some women.
So those are the things we are talking about. What is your goal? What do you set to achieve?
Yes.
Those are the things that we push for a kind of a revolution within the women.
Women, yes.
And do you know I will shock you. Do you know that, especially in Africa?
Yes.
When I was doing my studies, do you know that most of the people who were against women involvement in politics were women themselves?
Oh, I believe that.
And if you were to check the reason why these are reasons that was, I would say, from what I get from them, was just sheer jealousy.
Wow. I know.
And the woman, they call it the woman nature. Oh, you want to feel that you are better than me. What is it feeling like?
And that is the crab mentality.
I said, how the woman is dressing, how does it affect you? We are talking about, instead of addressing issues, you are addressing the person. I said, no, we are talking about increasing the involvement of women. How you can unleash the power inherent in you to be able to foster a kind of a front that will open up the womanhood into the society, so that the power they have used to manage the home effectively. Yes. Because can you imagine a man who has 60 children, maybe born out of a polygamous nature, and have more than how many wives? Yes. And we now go and get a farmland, get some, workers to clear the land, and tell the woman that, okay, you have 6 children for me, this land, this land, whatsoever crop you make from me, sell it and use it to train your children.
Yes.
Now, you see most of these women, they succeeded in managing that farmland.
Yes.
And they train their children to that level that today they become a useful citizens in the society.
Yes.
What does that tell you? That women were effectively managing what was committed to them. Yes. And what did the Bible say? It said, to whom much is given, much is expected. But look at the parable of the talent. The one that does not trade with what was given to him, the one that was given to him was taken and given to the one that traded with it. So how do you reward somebody that have done well? Is to give him more work.
Yes.
appreciate him, and encourage him to do more. So that power that they have used to manage the home and manage the resources of their husband that was committed to them, once they come to the society, they should be also able to manage this. But don't get me wrong, that today we have a lot of women who have also, actually not be able to, utilize the power when they get into positions. There's no doubt about that. Every power is subject to abuse.
I know.
There's no doubt about that.
Don't you think they were also influenced by the men that were on top of, like?
Exactly, that's it. So because can you imagine if you have 2 women working under 15 men, for example?
Yes.
How can she put? But the more involvement of other women,
then she has the strength. That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
Yes.
So that's what we are talking about. So
the fewer the women, the lesser the power, because if they are marginalized in a certain space of power, they cannot really have so much to say. As you've said, 15 over 20, maybe we have 20 people and 18 are men, 2 are just women. How can they make decision? The ones that are more will dominate. Their decision making will dominate. Thank you very much. You really, really unpacked this very well. And that is really good. And I hope our viewers, you getting a lot from Dr. Reverend Joshua Osaruyi Osagie. So now we are just quickly going to digress into the next question, which is now we know what has been going on since the past how many months, the lockdown, the COVID, and all sort of issues going on, racism and all that. So how has COVID affected countries such as Nigeria, whose populace already experience absolute poverty? We have statistics of people living in poverty. So what do you think about this COVID?
Well, there's no doubt that COVID, as it were, has affected not just only Africa, but the entire continent.
Yes.
And the entire world. And every world economy was hit by COVID. But because of time, and to narrow it down to your question, Nigeria is not an exception.
No.
You must understand again that the Nigeria economy before the pandemic was showing that there was a gradual but slowly growth in the GDP of Nigeria.
Yes, I saw that.
But even at that growth, it was still below the population expansion of Nigeria.
Yes,
because
it was.
Nigeria, is one of the most populated country in Africa. With a population of over, as at 2019, based on Statistics Nigeria, I think the population was about approximately 207 million. Can you imagine?
1 million over,
yes. Today is becoming, Nigeria is becoming poorer per capita. And what account for that? One, you must first of all look at the economy of Nigeria is oil dependent.
Yes.
Oil dependency. So which to me there has been an urgent need for the Nigerian economy to have been diversified long before now.
Yeah.
And now, but again that the approach to which our government have actually, approach governance depending on oil has really affected the nation, because if you look at in 2019, between 2019 March to March 2020, the oil price dropped by almost 60%. So how do you think that will impact if Nigeria economy is largely depending on oil? Definitely it's going to affect.
A lot of
there will be a spillover effect. And with this spillover effect, we are talking of even the COVID era. Now, where nations are giving what we call palliative to stimulus money to stimulate the economy.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Nigeria GDP is going down.
Yeah.
Where are they going to get money to stimulate the economy? What are the packages that are available for the citizens?
Yes. What did they put in place for them?
Because nothing was put in place.
Yeah.
Why? Because we never plan for.
Yeah, we don't prepare for the unexpected. Yeah.
Unexpected, and the unexpected is always there.
Yeah, it's always there.
It's always with us. COVID is here now. We are facing it. But what of the unexpected? We do know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Nobody
So
knows.
we must always project for the unexpected. That's how you build your economy. So what am I saying? That in March 2020, the oil price was pegged at 57 per barrel, and Nigeria production capacity came to 2.18 million barrel per day, to which the price was declining, less than 48% as against the expected revenue based on the budget that was presented. So there is no doubt that Nigeria was losing close to 10 billion as a result in export as a result of this COVID-19. Now the country is locked down. A lot of economic activity is not going on. Now, every country has to lock down, just like Nigeria locked down, but they lock down, they have to support the citizens. Why? Because through the taxpayers' money, they were able to support the citizens and support their various economic activities. But what has Nigeria been able to do? That is the big question. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no doubt, I agree with you, that COVID should be an eye-opener for our nation to know that there has always been an urgent need for us to diversify our economy, and that oil is no longer in vogue.
That's true.
They should approach governance based on the trend. We are in the era of green energy.
Yes.
Diversify the economy. Nobody is. I mean, you cannot be depending on cars using fuel or gas when there is electric cars all over the place now. So, come back to your question: is that there's no doubt that if the economic activity is brought to a halt by reason of COVID-19, it goes to tell that it's going to affect the economic activities of the people, and the people will further be impoverished because the country is already being affected.
Unprepared.
GDP.
So I was just thinking, based on our discussion. So I said, what impact does? I say, what does the future look like for? What can we do to help people in Nigeria navigate their ways during this tough time?
What we can do is, first of all,
those that lives in the rural area, especially, and those that don't even have home, that are homeless, the ones that live in the slum. What do we need to do to help them? What can we do?
There is a lot we can do, and one of the things I would suggest is for us to try as much as possible to create a direct impact link to our community and to our people. One of the things that really, throw me off balance is to see multinationals.
Yes.
People who are well-to-do contributing to alleviate the plight of the society, and they are channeling it through the government, who are supposed to naturally be in charge of managing resources and getting these resources to the rural people that you are talking about.
Yes.
And we know that they have not been a good manager. All they know is just embezzlement to satisfy their own yearnings.
Yes.
And then you want to make any contribution, you are still going to channel it through them. Well, you agree with me that it is true, being the governor of the state, they can decide to say, okay, you can't come here and make any contribution except you pass through us.
That's true.
All we need to do is, how do we work against these bottlenecks that will hamper our direct contact to help our community.
Yes.
Such that we can bring empowerment to them.
Yeah.
And the only way we can do that is to increase our involvement
of the people.
Those who are getting into elective position.
Yes. That was what I was thinking.
Those of us abroad, we have to begin to work our way so that we can see that the Constitution should be able to capture those of us in the diaspora.
Yeah.
So that, first of all, we have been disenfranchised. How we can best be enfranchised, that is, we are able to participate in the electoral process. But again, I know Africa is a very difficult terrain to carry out some of these activities, but we must not give up.
We will not, because that's where we are from. We are still going to
keep pushing. So I strongly to plead with every one of us.
Yes.
We must not pretend that because we are now a Canadian, we were first a Nigerian before we became a Canadian.
Yeah.
And so God has given us the privilege and the opportunity. We must be able to contribute our quotas.
And that is what we are doing right now.
That's what we are doing. And this is going to go beyond here.
Yes.
Because I know you. I know what you have even done within this fair. I know how many women that you have encouraged. You are almost rounding up your PhD now. I know how many women that even when they came to this part of the world, some of them didn't even go to the university.
No.
But you have to encourage them.
I've encouraged them.
And you have encouraged a lot of them. Some of them are even pursuing their PhD. Some of them are pursuing their first degree. So what are we talking about is that we need to impact lives.
Yes.
That is the best satisfaction you can ever derive. That is why I have agreed as a director of Policy House International. Policy House is an arm of Louis Victory Water Trade Mission, and we are into trying to harness the resources within our locality. How best we can be able to bring people, get cooperation to support us, so we can go back home and support people, our people. So I want everybody to be encouraged to do same. And I pray that this medium or this platform will become an avenue for us to really be able to reach out. Again, I want to thank the prestigious show for putting this.
Thank you so much. And we're still going to have more of, we are going to do a lot of things, because as we've said before, this is a platform that we're going to use to reach out to people. There's nothing else we can do. In order for us to create a change, it has to start from me and you, just the way we are doing it right now, right? So if the government hears us, they will know that, yes, these are some of the issues that we want them to take care of. So this is something we can do. So a lot of people that are watching right now, they can also do the same. We have to impact life. We have to change. We want our own, we want people to feel the way we are changing things, right? So that is why if you're watching right now, you have to be impactful. You have to make sure that you leave your own mark. Don't just do things that will transform lives. That is why you see me, I'm so passionate about what I do. I have so many workload, but I put them aside sometimes and do this show because I know that I'm transforming life. Somebody that will hear this will also take the information and use it for his or herself. So thank you so much, Mr. Joshua.
Let me just add this. You talk about our community here.
Yes.
First of all, what kind of community are we putting together?
Yes.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Because until we begin to bring ourselves together as a community, we cannot effectively go back to affect our people back home.
Yes.
Because what I've learned in my few years of being in Canada is that most of you are more trusted when you are in more like a community setting.
Yes.
And this is because one way or the other, the government feels that there's something that they stand to benefit partnering with you.
Yeah.
Like in the United States of America, for example, the Spanish, they have a block vote today.
Okay.
So you cannot relegate them to the background.
No.
The same way, every government of the day must seek for their attention.
Yeah.
And that becomes a tool for you to
to grow. Yeah.
So if we must be able to actually foster development back home.
Yeah.
This division among us, the day we step out of our country, irrespective of the language that or whatever ethnicity or tribe that you are from, one thing that brings us together is that we are all Nigerians.
Yes.
And our High Commission, through the Canadians Association, what are they doing? Some of the things they should do is to partner with our embassy.
Yes.
To see how we can fully, harness those things that can bring us into a very resourceful community, such that the government will be seeking after our attention. And then at that point, we now have opportunity to negotiate our way, and then how we can now better the lot of our people back home. So we have to first of all really be able to desire a quality community for ourselves.
Yes.
So that we can have what we call community partnership with the government, with organizations, and in that way we'll be able to evolve and be able to extend our hand of fellowship back to our people.
That's a wonderful tip, Mr. Joshua. I can't even thank you.
That includes me and you. That includes me and you. So even while we are saying this, we are not excluding ourselves.
We are not excluding ourselves.
We have to bring ourselves in.
I believe we've started our own quota, as as I've earlier said. We are not excluding ourselves. We are going to be included in it. So we are just telling people to be more included in all these things. They cannot just say it is none of my business. It is your business. There is nothing like us coming together as one to be able to carry and help our community thrive to their best of ability. But if we divide ourselves and we have this crab mentality that I'm not part of it, it's none of my business, one way or the other, it's still going to affect you. So we need unity, as you've earlier said, to work together, and also at the end of the day, take that back home to also help our community back home too. So I just have two more questions for us to round up. I just want you to throw light on this. What does the future look like for our youth due to this new type of learning? We have online learning. We have a lot of youths. It's a new thing for them. What do you think the future looks like for them right now? Due to this COVID now, things are just, something different. And
because of my background, I know the influence of what I call environmental factor.
Yeah.
To development.
Yeah.
And so we must be able to adapt. The only thing that is constant in life is change.
It's change. Yes. Yes.
And anybody that doesn't want to approach life in the fear of change should not even be considered existing. For example,
that's
2 years back, the same person you are seeing now, if I'm to show you my picture, it's not the same person.
Yeah.
Change has taken place.
Yes.
So why should I say I cannot adapt to change? We are now in an era.
Yeah, a new dispensation.
Yes, a new dispensation.
Yeah.
And we must be able to quickly adjust, else we'll be left behind. And this is what has affected Africa drastically.
Yes.
And so one of the ways that our youth can be able to benefit is to begin to embrace the dynamics of the kind of society that we live today.
Yes.
But they cannot do it alone without the parents.
Yeah, support.
The parents' support is very paramount.
Yeah.
What are some of the support? Parents is now to announce the various resources that is out there.
Yeah.
That can help boost and foster our youth to get involved. For example, as a pastor, I've been able to get in contact with partner with organization who have been able to link me up with the government of Canada, such that we can now empower our youth through skill development.
Wow.
And you know that through this partnership,
yes,
government donated to us for a start for us to set up 30 computers.
Wow, that's good.
But why am I saying this? I'm saying this in the fact that if you look at our community, we come to Canada, for example. I'm talking of the Christian community now. We think that church should be done the way it is done back home.
No.
We collect from the people. What is the church giving back to the people?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So one of the way I feel that I should be able to give back to the people is to try to empower our youth.
Yeah.
And you know, the same youth now are the one that have even helped me. Oh, for example, you know, I wasn't really, we were not really born into the computer age.
Yeah, we are just.
Exactly. So when COVID was here, the church was closed. We were all now to do online services. Now, guess who was able to help? It is the same youth through the skill that they have acquired.
Yes.
They were able to link us up with YouTube channel, and we got into Zoom. We got into all the different media platforms, and from there we were transmitting. And you know, surprisingly, for the first time in June this year, we hit 1K viewers in our Sunday services.
Wow.
So that means our services is beyond the number of people you see inside the church on a Sunday service. Those are the trends that we are talking about.
Thank you. You see, that is why they need our support as well.
Exactly.
You just use your church as an example. Most pastors don't want to invest in their youths. They are very, very important. They are important bodies in the church.
The reason is this.
Yeah.
To me personally,
yeah,
I believe that we should be a good example of what we preach.
Yes.
I'm not. Thank God for the calling of God upon me.
Yes.
I don't see myself even in the very distant future of getting into a full-time pastor, receiving salary from the contribution of my members.
Yes.
I'm a working pastor.
Yes. That's good.
So I might reduce my work because this is another assignment for me.
It is, yes.
So that I can earn my respect within my member.
Yes.
Pastor, church is not for self-aggrandizement. It's not for self-enrichment.
That's true.
Church is supposed to be a kind of a rehabilitation center. Church is supposed to be a center of welfare. In fact, the art of said everybody, they all came together. Everybody was bringing things together and they shared things in common.
Okay.
So that is why we approach our own ministry from that very perspective.
Yes.
And you see, I won't lie to you. Our members are so happy and I enjoy their cooperation, and that even ease the stress of me. So what am I trying to say is that we must begin to reorientate ourselves.
Exactly.
And begin to, see how best we can help to, foster this new development wave that is cutting across the globe. For example, those who misuse faith for the knowledge of fact that COVID is out there.
Yes.
They pay the price for it.
Yeah.
Faith is not an excuse not to acknowledge the fact that COVID is out there.
Yes, that's true.
But what faith does is that it gives you the knowledge that you can survive it.
Yes.
That you can survive it and that you can conquer it.
Yeah.
And that you have, and that even if at all you get caught up, you will come back stronger.
Yes.
And when you come back stronger, whatsoever you have been able to conquer, you now have a better understanding to deal with it when it confronts you some other time. So I want to appreciate this opportunity that we have, because through our contribution, we are going to bring what I would call a kind of a wave through to the globe for them to begin to see things. And I tell people, don't just sit down and be condemning people.
No.
Make yourself a good example of what you want the society to be, because government is not just those who are sitting at the end of affair.
Yeah, it's me and you.
It's me and you.
Yes.
Part of
people don't get it. They think the government.
That is where the enlightenment comes in.
Yes.
That is where the participation.
Yes.
Now, if my state government want to challenge me today, for example, what have I contributed to my state? I can show him severally how I have bought my ticket, gone back to, for example, in Alauda to go and support the government and contribute my quota. So that is what I'm saying. Without them having to be the one buying my ticket. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or without them having to be the one to sponsor me. But what am I trying to say here is that there a sacrifice has to be paid.
Exactly.
That we deserve. People are saying revolution. That should be the last resort.
Thank you.
We must exhaust every avenue of dialogue. And that is the program that me and you, we are doing now.
Right now.
A different avenue of dialogue in the society. So that we can bring and impact the world, and the change that we so desire will actually become, available to us. I want to thank you. I really want to appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I love this. I just love what we've just done. And you touched on everything. The fact that, just look at now, we can't even, I can't even thank God enough and thank you enough. I thank God and I thank the fact that we are actually using technology. You live very far away, 5 hours from where I am. I'm in Toronto, you are in Windsor, but yet we can communicate.
Yes. I don't have to travel.
You don't have to travel. That's another a positive impact of technology.
Risk reduced. I don't have to be afraid of accident or
exactly.
whatever.
Risk reduced. These are some of the things. And these are some of the reasons why we are telling people to also utilize this time. This is a new dispensation. This is a new world for us. A lot of people should be open to this new world because we have no choice unless you want to be left behind. You can actually reach out to people and discuss issues. If you want to reach out to the government right now, you can. You can use this avenue instead of you to. I'm not saying socialization is not good, but there are certain things, as Reverend Joshua has earlier said. It is good for your impact to be felt. And that is exactly what we are doing right now, right? So just one more last thing before we go. I just want you to, what advice do you have in terms of inclusiveness of women in all spheres?
Well, the advice that I have, I think this should be the height of our discussion today.
Yes.
Is that you must position yourself for that change that you so desire.
Thank you.
And women needs to wake up. Women needs to wake up. For example, I am a pastor. We have women ministry, for example. I told my wife, you don't go to women ministry. It's a non-denominational anyway.
Yes.
And go and be preaching Bible there. You must go and address issues of contemporary.
Yes, contemporary.
How, as a woman, as a faith-based woman, how do you manage your husband, your children, and your career?
Yes.
For example, they come to church, they hear the pastor preach. They have heard the word.
Yes.
You don't go back to your women fold and then begin to go and be another Simon. They will become so bored. I said, so you must begin to address contemporary issues.
Yes.
That will help to foster. For example, what are the challenges that is facing marriage? Look at so many marriages, so many single mothers out there.
Yes.
Why? Because some of them they cannot absorb the pressure that comes from with the reality
of marriage
itself. Yes. And you see, we enter into it so early. The only thing that is supposed to separate us once we get into marriage, for example, is death.
Yes.
And people enter it as early as in their early or late 20s.
Yes.
At most, maybe early 30s. Now, if you are to live, for example, if Jesus tarry and God help us, give your strength, minimum 100.
That's true.
You have not even lived half of your life. More than half of your life is going to be lived in marriage.
True.
So you must be able to navigate your way.
True.
On how you are going to succeed. So the best people that can channel this cause is the women.
Yes.
And one of the ways they can unleash the power within them is because women, though we look giant, we are just small babies in big bodies.
Thank you.
You women, you know where to touch to get your husband to cooperate with you.
That's true.
So you have to carry us along.
Yes.
And whether we like it or not, the only way we can have peace is that we must come to cooperate. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, what do you want me to do? We get to that point where we say, okay, if this is what will make you happy, we'll join you. So first of all, be part of the change they so desire. And how do they do that? You can socialize. There's no doubt about it. That's why I quote Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that everything has time. For example, even as a pastor, I create time to take my family on vacation.
Yes.
We have fun. So that doesn't stop us from socializing. But what I'm saying, life is not all about
social. You have to balance it.
You must balance it.
You have to balance
one of the way is to make sure that the women should be able to begin to gather themselves.
Yes.
Rather than trying to be envious of themselves,
jealousy, fighting
themselves, channel that energy in a positive way.
Yes.
To say, what can we do to better our lives? The same thing with youth. Youth also don't sit down thinking that those who have tasted honey will quietly walk away and say, come and take over.
No.
We must also begin to organize ourselves.
Yes.
Not as a weapon of violence.
Yes.
Where politicians come to patronize us.
No.
To unleash violence. No. Yeah. I told them I can never be a victim.
At all.
You think I don't want to be a leader? So why should you come and recruit me? So we should begin to see ourselves
as
in a light that we want to. The only way we can make change is to begin to negotiate our way through.
Yes.
And these are through our involvement in policy, deliberate policies. And that is how we can form a pressure group. What is pressure group? Is to be able to influence the activities of the state. And one of the best way to do that is to first of all organize ourselves. When you are disorganized, nobody wants to listen to you.
That's true.
Let the women begin to organize themselves together. Let the youth begin to organize themselves together. And what is the role of women? We must give the leaders support that they so desire. And that will make our society to be a better society, the one we so desire. And at the end of the day, our living on earth will never be. Look at those, our heroes past today. Their name still ring a bell, even in their grave.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there are some people
that are still alive.
Who are still alive, who people don't even hear their name.
That's true.
I pray that we will not be such.
Amen.
But through the grace that He has bestowed on us, we'll be able to impart life and we'll be able to make a meaningful life out of the world. Remember, I said, even though we are in the world, We are not of the world. We are a different species. We must live in that light.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you, Reverend Dr. Joshua Osaruyi Osaige. I am so happy that you came to educate our viewers today. Thank you for your time. And again, I want to thank our viewers out there. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this live stream with myself and Reverend Dr. Joshua Osaige. So you can see that there's a lot that we have to bring to your doorsteps from Prestigious Talk Show. This is very educative, informative. So if you want more of this, we are going to be doing this, because in order for change to occur, it has to start from me and you. All right, that is how it starts. So this is our time. We've spent our time to sit here to educate you, to inform you about certain things. All we need from you now is for you to go home and think about it, make the right decision. If you are not educated, or if you want to do something, make sure you do it, and don't just waste your time. Okay, make sure you prioritize, balance things, and do the things that is right, and make sure your impact is felt in this world. So I want to thank you guys once again for watching. I remain your host once again, Faith Adodo. And again, as I normally say in all my videos, remember, you are not alone. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you. Bye. Yeah.